Long ago, nestled on the edge of an ancient forest, there was a quiet village named Alaria. The villagers were kind and hardworking, but they had one strange rule. No one was allowed to enter the heart of the forest. Children were told stories about spirits, strange lights, and voices that lured people deep into the trees, never to return. But no one could say exactly what was there. It was just known, you don't go in. But rules, as always, stir curiosity, especially in the hearts of the young. Among the villagers was a 14-year-old girl named Lyra. She was different, more curious than cautious, more bold than obedient. Lyra wasn't reckless, but she needed to understand things. So, the forest, with all its mystery, gnawed at her thoughts like a secret begging to be told. One crisp morning, after her chores were done and her mother had gone to market, Lyra packed a small bag with bread, water, and a pocket knife, and slipped quietly into the forest. At first, it felt just like any other woodland, chirping birds, fluttering leaves, beams of sunlight poking through the green canopy. But after an hour or so, she noticed something strange. The air got still. Too still. Birds stopped singing. The breeze vanished. Even the crunch of her footsteps seemed muted. And then she saw it. In a clearing, surrounded by ancient twisted trees, stood a mirror. It was tall, taller than any person, framed with vines and wood, its surface so clean it looked like water. Lyra stepped closer. She expected to see her reflection. But what she saw made her freeze. The mirror showed her, but not as she was. In the mirror, she was wearing a grand dress made of gold silk, a crown on her head, and people kneeling around her. She was older, powerful, commanding. She looked perfect. Lyra stared, heart racing. Is this me? A soft voice, like wind in leaves, whispered behind her. Only if you choose it. She spun around. No one was there. The mirror, the voice said again, shows not what you are, but what you could become. Lyra blinked. Who's speaking? There was no reply. She turned back to the mirror. Now, the image had changed. She was standing alone in the same forest, but everything around her was dead, trees blackened, ground cracked, sky dark. Her face was hard, cold. The crown was still on her head, but she was frowning. Crying. Lyra stepped back, shaken. I don't understand, another whisper. What you become depends on what you value. Suddenly, Lyra realized. The mirror wasn't magic in the way she expected. It wasn't there to grant wishes or show the future. It was there to reveal. To show potential paths, one shaped by ambition and power, the other by loneliness and regret. She sat for a while in the clearing, unsure of how much time passed. Eventually, she reached into her bag and pulled out a piece of bread. She broke it in half and set one piece at the base of the mirror. For whoever needs it next, she whispered. Then, she turned and walked back through the forest. The trees didn't feel quite so still this time. A soft breeze kissed her cheek. Somewhere in the distance, a bird sang. Years passed. Lyra grew into a woman, and eventually became the village leader. Not because she sought the role, but because she listened, cared, and earned the trust of everyone. The people loved her not as a ruler, but as one of them. And she never spoke of the mirror. One day, a young boy named Jalen, curious and bold, asked her why no one ever went into the forest. Lyra smiled, eyes far away. Because some truths, she said, you must find only when you're ready. Not before. And in the forest, the mirror still stood, silent, waiting, reflecting not just faces, but choices. Brain moral of the story. Power and success are not evil, but how you seek them defines who you become. Choose your path wisely, because what you value shapes your future.